All right. I'm just going to wait for it. And there it is. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the theology, not the theology of music. What? I reverted back to my old podcasting days. I don't know why. I just panicked because the audio wasn't the way I wanted it to be. And I was like, does anyone do that? Do you ever panic and just like revert to an old pathway? Apparently, I just did some deep subconscious pathway in my brain.
It's been a minute since that one, right?
Again.
I mean,
it was like, do it, Joel. Well,
how long ago was that one?
To the Stretched Thin podcast,
where we share our experience and some encouragement as two men trying, not thriving, in the 21st century. I'm Shannon, a pastor, coffee shop owner, and an author.
And I'm Joel, definitely not thriving or cheery. A former pastor and author and now tech professional. All right, Shannon. What a start. Let's do this.
Let's go.
Man.
So tell me, how long ago was that podcast?
I started it in 2019, went for about 2 years, I think. So then I ended it like 21, I think. But so that was
5 years.
It was just me. And I would literally do that. I would go, welcome to the Theology Music Podcast, the only podcast where we look at the good and bad theology in the songs that we sing. I'm your host, Joel. And that was like, I said that so many times. And I think my brain just was like, you're going to do it again right now.
Look at Joel rolling back 5 years to pulling up that podcast.
It was fun.
Maybe it needs to come back.
Well, it is. It's not. I mean, it's not mine. I ran that podcast for a long time, and then I was done with it because I didn't really feel like I needed it anymore. That's a long story, but I had a friend of mine who was, funnily enough, the inspiration for the logo, because the logo was this big fedora hat like you see in the background right there, and a big beard. And I had a beard, but this guy who was like my mentor in worship music local, he had a huge beard, and we would wear the same thing. And he's, like, he was a good 30, 40 years older than me. I mean, he's at least 60 or something. Like, he's not a young guy. So he was an older guy, but he looked so cool. And so when I was working on the logo, just because I liked to look like that, because I had a beard and I would wear the fedora thing. And so I made that the logo. It was just Theology of Music. And it was so fun. I mean, I think I still have, oh yeah. I made these magnets, and
fun.
And the funny thing was, I like when I designed the logo, the AI, this is back in 2019, like AI wasn't a big thing of designing logos for you. So, and I didn't know stuff really well. So I literally used like the iPad painter thing and just created it. I didn't know Canva, or Canva wasn't even big back then either. So I hand created this logo, all of it, like the hat and the beard and everything. And it's still there. And so he's the one who does the podcast now. It took a break until he was ready, because he had to get some stuff situated in his life, because he's a professor and a worship pastor and a pastor at a church. And he just didn't have the bandwidth. And then finally he was like, I got it. And so a few years ago, sorry, my eyes itching like crazy. A few years ago, he was like, all right, I'm good. And I turned it back over to him. So I think he's been running it monthly. But yeah, it's still going.
Well, when do we cross the threshold that says there's a stretched thin magnet for us, sir?
Well,
how many episodes do we have to get
when
to
you and I see each other?
Our magnet.
When you and I see each other.
Shut up! They're there. Look at that.
So technically, it's a sticker. I didn't do a magnet. I can still get a magnet, but.
Dang, look. Yeah, so I have a non-stickered water bottle, and my wife has the exact same one, and so we can't keep them apart. So I need that to be on my water bottle.
Because I also need to give you, I've got a good bit of them.
Oh, look at that.
Got this huge stack. So I need to give you something to give out or put on your, at all your coffee shops.
Absolutely.
So.
Okay, well, look at you. Look at you.
I was already ahead of you. because well, the thing was I was already making these because I wanted to make them, and then this is the funny thing. So for the this suicide prevention app that we've talked about that I was working on, I wanted to make like a pin, put on your jacket or whatever. Well, one, I didn't think they were going to be this big, and two, they light up, but I didn't think they'd be this bright.
Iron Man. You can put that
So
right
it's
there in your
yeah,
chest.
it's one massive, and two, so bright, and then also has a strobing function. Don't need
Oh,
that,
oh,
or a
no.
slow pulsing. I'm like, this is why did I do this?
That's
So
hilarious.
I mean, it's huge. It's massive, but I mean, it would be
Is
good. Like it stands out.
is that a prototype, or is that did you get several made? Oh. Oh, when you don't have enough big, bright, blinking buttons, just call Joel.
Not my proudest moment. Like it, but the funny thing was in the same delivery. I get that amazing sticker from the stretch thin. Perfect, looks incredible, right? And then I get this, and I'm just like,
Hey, you know what? Maybe it was meant to be. I'll
well,
wear it. I'll wear one of those big blinking buttons.
that's so funny.
That's
Oh my gosh,
fantastic.
it's been
Like,
forever. It feels like you went to Nicaragua on a missions trip, and I didn't go anywhere, so it's not like I went. But you saw the light. It seems. I feel like everyone does that when they go on a missions trip. They feel like they get both the spiritual fulfillment, but then also the ooh, I suck. I have too much. Like my priorities are bad. Quick and dirty. How are you feeling now? Have you come down from that? Where are you? Because you were, you got back, and I mean, once again, it's really funny. I was listening to the episode 9 that's coming up about how you went on a trip to California and then you came back and you hit the ground running, and I made the joke that you literally were like airplane on tarmac, just burned rubber, destroyed your tires. That's how quickly you hit the ground running. I feel like you did the same thing
yes.
again after Nicaragua.
Oh my gosh, we got back at my house, walked in the door like 9:30 on Friday night, and 9:30 Saturday morning we were out the door to a church event, baseball tournament. It was yeah. The short version of Nicaragua was just I mean it was a yeah, it was an impacting trip. It wasn't the first time I've been. I've been there 3 years before. Um, and also I think I can say it like this. I didn't realize this was a commonly held application or comparison, but I've heard it said a number of times that oftentimes when we leave our country and we go to a place like Nicaragua, it's like we're leaving a place that is blue and we go to a place that
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
yellow, and we're there and we're impacted by the yellow that we see, and we come back to blue, and now our that mixture we're green, and so
Mm.
we and the statement was made while we were there: you'll never be fully blue again, and you'll never be
Mm.
yellow, but you'll always have this influence of having been there. And our team leader, the last night that we were there, made this statement, and he said, and sometimes it's good to go back to yellow, because
Huh.
sometimes it's good to
Yeah.
be reminded, and that's exactly what it was for me. It was going back to that. And I came back. I think I dealt, I may have communicated. I dealt with all of the, gosh, I feel so guilty. And so how much, the people that we were around, such just amazing people, they have so little. I mean, they in the community around the school where we were in Thomas Borhe, there's how the people live in sheet metal wall shacks and dirt floors and no plumbing and like nothing. It's literally, this town is built on a landfill. And so I came home and I was like, God, I feel so guilty, like for having what I have. I'm getting in my air conditioned car and I'm driving home to my house, and while I was driving with my son, we were talking on the way back, and he was feeling the same way. And I was like, you know what though? I don't think that God wants us. It's not that we go there to be exposed to this to feel guilty. I think the takeaway is to be grateful, to come back and to be thankful for what we do have, and to be and to recognize that what we do have is not entitled to us. It's just we just happen to be blessed to be here where we have what we have, and it's caused me to genuinely like start looking at things and being like, I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I can sit here in my house, in a cool house, where there was a week ago I was not sitting in air conditioning. I can. I joked with my wife. I was like, I'm thankful that we have a toilet, and in our house that has its own room. You know, I mean, it is.
It's
Like
very true.
how blessed are we? And so it's been, I feel extremely grateful. I feel grateful for the opportunities, the things that I've been stressed about and I feel like make me busy. And I got this business is so heavy, and a pastor, like all of that is a blessing, and I'm grateful for it. So fantastic experience, and I'm so glad that I went, and I'm so glad to be home. I'm so, yeah, it was seven
I
days
just
of coolness. Not
I
coolness,
just
hotness.
realized that's yeah. Also, I just realized that you and I are both wearing black, and the only thing differentiating us right now is if me wearing the hat and the glasses. But like I feel like we're just turning into the same person now with the long hair, and we're just gonna wear black from now. Is this gonna be the thing? Is this gonna the black is the uniform?
Uh, I mean, it was today.
I'd probably wear
I'm
black
not,
for a very different reason though. Like if not like sad reason, I just saw someone do an outfit that was black shorts and a black shirt, and they said tech startup, and I thought I'm gonna look like that today. Anyway, um, what was your was that your good? Was Nicaragua? I mean, was there even a bad other than pooping in front of everyone?
honestly, there was a bad, and it was personally for me. I think the first day we went there, I didn't have to tell you this. I sledded down a volcano, which is like it's one of
Super
it's the
cool.
I think it's the only volcano in the world that you can actually active volcano that it's actually possible to sled down, and we had to walk 2 kilometers up to the top. It was crazy. You could look down and you could see where it had exploded, and all
Wow.
around it is ash. But when you go down the opposite side, you're literally sledding down this mountainside of ash. It was an exhausting hike up. I mean, it was hot. It was super, super hot. We do it. The ride to there and from there was miserable. So we get back to the school. This is our first day that we're there, and we find out that there's a project waiting for us to do at this
Mm,
school. They've built a whole new wing to the school, and so they're wanting to do a landscaped garden. And I was like, we initially didn't think that we were going to have to do any projects the first day that we were there. And so when they told us that we were having to do a garden, I was pretty mad. I was like, I'm so exhausted. We're having to lift these massive stones and landscape it out. There's 28 of us in a relatively small space. And it's like we're just tripping over top of one another, and it just seems so cluttered. And I was like, this just this is frustrating. And so I really had a bad attitude. And then we got started. We got started in it, and I had a flashback to years ago when I went overseas to Israel for the first time. Similar sort of scenario. I'm there to work in a benevolent situation. We're setting up an office to help people that are needing benevolence, but it's a slow go in getting it started up. So we had extra time, and so my boss, who later was my father-in-law, says, "Hey, you've got time on your hands. There's a ministry partner that has a big courtyard in their space. They've got a garden and they need some help. So they've asked if you and your friend can, and my counterpart, we could go down and work in the garden." So we said, okay, we go down, and I'm pulling weeds, and I'm just mad. I'm mad. Here I am in Israel. I've come here to do, God's work. We're going to help these, poor immigrants that are needing stuff. And why am I here having to work in a garden? And I just had a moment where it was like the Lord just really kind of challenged me and was just like, you need to get over yourself, because you're in a really, really cool place to learn some powerful lessons. And just nature, gardening, plant life speaks so many volumes. And this is the thought that went through my head sitting there in Jerusalem. And I feel like that he's like, I do some really cool things in gardens in this city. So just chill out. And I was
Yeah,
like,
that's yeah. It's like
so this was a
couple
flashback
big
to that. And I was
gardens
like,
there in the story of
I'm
Christ.
right. So I just kind of, so Saturday, I was like, you know what? I'm going to embrace this. So I grabbed a shovel. And when it came time to plant plants, man, I was digging like nobody's business. And was fun, but yeah, I had a really crappy attitude day one. So that would definitely be my bad.
Was in your good was the trip?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, there's just like so much of it was just it was cool to
And
be
you
there
got to
with my
go with your
son.
son too. Yeah.
Yeah. This kid just he's a baseball fanatic, right? And so these little kids in Nicaragua, they don't have an actual baseball bat. They barely have what, the remnants of a glove, and they're out in this hot open field and they're just playing, and
That's so
he's
fun.
here he is, I took a picture of him standing with all of them and I sent it back to my family and I was like, can you spot the gringo? Because he just stands out, and but he had a blast, and it was just cool to see him just engaging and interacting with kids, language barrier or not. Like it was I gotta go. I do have to go to one good, like this really cool good. Um, this school is K through 11th grade. Okay.
Okay.
And so the last time we went there, they didn't have the elementary school. So like the last day that we're there, I go over to the elementary school. It's play recess time. So I'm hanging out in the playground and this little girl runs up to me and we're doing our best to communicate. Thank God for Google Translate. So I find out she wants me to go to her with the seesaw. I'm like, okay. So I go, she gets on one side of the seesaw, I get on the other. Obviously, there's no way she's going to get me up in the air. And so I'm like, we're playing around. So and we get another kid to come over and another kid and another, till we had 15 first graders on the other side. And it took 15 of them to get me up in the air, but they thought it was the most hilarious thing. And then I come back down, and so they're like, you push. And so they stayed on their end and I had
That's
to
so funny.
push to lift them up in the air. So that was a blast. But then we're almost at time for them to have to go back into class. And she runs over to me and she's communicating. She wants me to throw her up in the air. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do that. Like is that,
Just just injuring a kid on a missions
I'm
trip.
thinking lawsuit waiting to happen, right? So
Yep.
teachers,
Yep.
this Americans come. So I'm like, well, okay. So I throw her up in the air, and she just, I mean, just belly laughs, man. She is just loving it. Well, I put her down, and there's another one that was waiting right
Of
beside
course. Of
her,
course.
and so I do her, and then I look, and before long, I have like 12, a line of 12 that are waiting to be thrown up in the air, and they wouldn't go to class until they got tossed in the air, and every single one of them just laughed, and it did my heart so much good just to be back out on that playground and just playing and having fun, with these little
Yeah.
kids. It was beautiful.
And that's so cool too, because I mean, your kids aren't that age anymore.
No, no, I got a 10-year-old, but she's not really all that about being thrown up in the
It's not the
air,
same. It's not the same.
and no,
You know.
but
No.
it did make me want to come back and be more intentional about play.
Oh, oh, look
You
at
know,
you.
but I say that you're good about it. You're Mister like play dad all the time. So
I
I
don't
need to
know.
take a lesson from
Some
you.
days no. Some days no. Some days I'm like, oh my god, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not because it is funny. It's so funny how kids will first one do something, then you do it enough, the next one wants to join, the next one wants to join. It's so funny. I mean, literally like last night was so it's different. Girls and boys are different, right? You have to get the energy out of a boy or they're not going to go to sleep. Girls, they don't, it's not the same. Funnily enough, it feels like if you rile them up before bed, it's worse than if you rile a
Yep.
boy up before bed because you just need to get his
Right.
energy out. But the game is literally just pushing them over on the couch. They'd come up to me, I'm like, get out of here. And I push them. But it's so funny that like I'm just doing Ed. I'm just pushing Ed. And then Lucy comes by. She's like, well, it's my turn. So then I'm pushing her and then Ed. And then Nora's like, well, it's my turn too. So then I'm going, Lucy, Ed, Nora, Ed, Lucy. And I'm just, and it's just 5 minutes of that. And it's so funny though, too, is exactly what you're saying. It's like, it doesn't have to be anything. It's not, which is another thing that I think us as parents and dads can do better is it doesn't you don't have to do this craft or make up this game or take them somewhere or resort to TV or whatever. Like it could be as simple as pushing them down on a couch. I mean, Ed literally loves if I just drop him on the couch. If I pick him up and I drop him from like 3 feet, he thinks it's the funniest thing in the world. And I'm going, that's it. Like it's what it doesn't take anything else. I just pick him up and I drop him. I'm not sitting down and coloring and writing a story. It's and I do think we could do better at that. What you're saying about being play isn't just what we think play could be, because to them play is anything that just is fun, and so much to them is fun rather than to us it like we feel like it has to be this occasion. So
And it doesn't, honestly, I'll tell you, it doesn't stop when they get older. So just last night, my two of my older three girls, we were home, and we're sitting around on the couch, and we start talking about we want to go back to Boone. The family wants to go to Tweetsie
yeah,
Railroad and meet with my parents that are up there, and or to meet up there. And so my one of my girls was like, "Oh my gosh, like we've got to go back and see the Tweetsie Railroad cloggers." And so my littlest one was like, "What's a clogger?" And so we were like, we pulled it up on YouTube, and we were playing it, and so my one of my girls gets up and she's like, "It's like this," and so she's acting like she's clogging. And I'm like, "No, no, no, no." So I get up, and here the two of us are standing in the living room. We're just being stupid, but I mean, this 51-year-old guy is standing next to his 21-year-old daughter, and we're clogging, we're flat footing, and we're just laughing and having a good time. And I think we forget that we can, it's just
yeah,
it's having fun. It's
yep,
just getting over ourselves and being stupid and being
mm,
willing to get hurt. I cracked my toe on the floor, and
of course you
and I was
did.
like, of course I did, but it was funny. It was funny to me. It was funny to them, and we just even my wife, she was sitting in the chair and she was just like, it was pulling out her deep laughter, and it was just, I think we need that. It's so
Yep,
necessary. And it's
yeah,
not just something that happens when your kids are little. As a dad, we can find those times when our kids are older too. So,
agreed,
hey, tell
agreed.
me about your week, man. Good, bad. I'd love to
Yeah,
hear. We haven't really caught up since I've gotten back.
I know it's been crazy. Oh man, man, I feel as if my good was I'm like I feel like I need to pull up my calendar. So I'm like, what even happened? Does that happen to you, Shannon and
Yes,
listeners? Do
yes.
you ever like what even happened last week? You just
Mm,
it vanishes. It was you lived it and then it vanished in your mind and you're in the next week. I'm looking at it. Oh, you know what? I think the win was we got to go to the pool, which was a great. I love the pool. I grew up in Virginia Beach, so I grew up around the beach, but I love the pool. I was a lifeguard. It was like my favorite thing. I loved the pool. There's nothing that signals to me summer than just hanging out by the pool with the kids.
mm,
And so we went to the pool with some friends, and that was great. Like the girls got to hang out with a school friend, and I got to hang out with the guy, and we were just talking, and it was great. And I just love it. I love sitting in the sun, sitting in the water, and just chilling. And it to me is just a beauty. I just can't beat it. I would live at the pool every day if I could. So just getting to do that was great. Getting to do that with friends was good. And then I think the bad for me was I think I just felt like I was constantly battling this tension of I'm tired, but I know I need to keep doing stuff, but I need to go to sleep and like just trying to rethink how I do my evenings. And that was really frustrating because in the past, and I think my bad was like coming to grips with maybe the season is I don't do stuff in the evenings. Was in the past, like, I would just I could like one, I would get Ed down quickly, and so I'd have time, and I could do stuff. And then it just became like I don't. One, these kids are staying up a little bit later. It's the summer, and then two, I don't want to stay up past 9:30 and 10 trying to get stuff done for whatever I'm doing. Like I'd rather go to sleep and get up earlier or whatever. And so it was hard. It was like that just really frustrating moment where like I was like I constantly felt tired but then also I felt the tension of, man, I feel as if I should be doing more. Um, and so I think that was my bad, was that just the evenings weren't, they didn't feel good, you know?
Mm. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's a tension in that you feel and what you like, what you would want to be doing, what you have to do, what you used to do, what you can't, all and yeah, I think that it, I don't like feeling constrained.
Yes.
I've always struggled. Like I don't like to sit on the inside of a row. I don't like to be held down. I don't like to
Yeah.
be constrained. And I don't know if
You're
that's
also a
just me.
curmudgeon though. You're just a curmudgeon. Like, you don't like loud sounds in a downtown city. You
You know
don't
what?
like
No, I'm
sitting in
not.
the
I listen. Shut up. I flat-footed and clogged in my living room last night with my 21 and 20-year-old daughters.
Yes,
So
yes. I'm so sorry.
show
Well,
me, show me a
for
crib.
every flat-footed clogging, there's a meep meep. Oh, shut up! I can't stand this.
You know what? It's true. I did before last week. I was on everything, and then now
But
on
look
this
at you.
week,
You're
it's like,
changed now. This will be the key. Is if now when you hear meep 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 in the middle of downtown Chattanooga, if you actually smile, we'll know Nicaragua changed you. If
I don't
not,
know
we'll
about
know it didn't really do it.
smiling. I don't know about smiling, but maybe not being irritated. I will say this: I was trying to get out of my parking garage this afternoon, and the parking garage, the people in front of me, both entrances, one guy was stuck there, so he's calling, and I find myself this irritation rising in me, like, how hard is this? Just
Yeah.
put and so he didn't, so I go up to the second one or the other exit, and it's the same thing, and I'm sitting there and the lady's trying to figure out, and I can't quite figure out if she's fighting with her cigarette or if she's actually trying to pay
Hey,
the
doll.
meter.
I'm
And
just trying
I'm
to pay the
like,
meter, all right? I just don't want to get a ticket.
I feel it rising up and I'm like, huh? And I'm like, you know what? No, they can't figure it out. They're gonna make the push the little button to call the attendant. They'll get it figured out. And I was much better. So I hope it's long
I'm bad
lasting.
about that though. I'm bad about that too. I don't like being late. That's my biggest pet peeve. I hate being late. And so anytime I feel like I'm running late for the gym and I'm gonna get there, to me, like on time or a few minutes after class starts, hate it. I'm such a mean person in the car. I just become this like, hurry up, what are you doing? How come on?
Well, because
So
you're teaching the class too, though, right? I mean, if you're
no,
like,
no, 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 no,
oh,
no. I
oh,
would
this
not.
is just you getting.
Yeah, no, I would never chance that. I'm always early if I'm coaching. No,
Me, I'm like, I'm gonna if it. I'm the that's not me. I push it way too close. So
you're going. I open at 8. I'll be there at 8. You're like, oh, okay. No, I like in the morning when I coach the 5:30. I'm there at 5:10 to open, turn
oh,
everything
okay,
on.
20 minutes.
So you still have to technically turn everything on because you're opening.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so 20 minutes. That's not bad.
And you don't want to be doing that when the people come in because they're coming in and they're like they expect you to get
That's a
the
whole
show on the
thing,
road,
dude. Because
coach.
for the freaking we for some reason I think it's just the age of everything and stuff, and it's just the gym. It's not like in a nice house; it's in a metal box. That it just takes sometimes forever, or sometimes the person who closes, doesn't keep everything on. Like the goal is just don't close windows, don't log out, just turn off TVs, so that way when the person comes in the next day, they can just turn on the TV and then it'll be right up and ready to go, right? And then we can turn on the iPad. Don't turn off the iPad. Keep the iPad on or whatever. That way they don't have to load it up and then it has to connect to the Wi-Fi again. Because dude, there are some times where I'm trying to turn on the music and it's not until 5:30 when I can actually get music going. And it's just like, but it's what it is. I mean, it's a small thing. Once again, small, tiny thing, trivial thing. So, but yeah. What about your win? What was your win? Was it? I mean, obviously you just were in Nicaragua, so I don't know what your win would be.
I I I was prepared for this today because
Ooh,
I do have a win. When we got there, um we had a team meeting, and there was just this conversation about just noticing, essentially, just while you're here, just see the people that you're around,
no,
and notice, and I took that to heart, and I found myself during the week to almost an awkward level of not just noticing but listening, being still, um quiet,
you just like
and
watching people. Yeah.
not talking, um and I realized how much I do talk, first of all. But not just me. I realized as Americans, we love to hear the sound of our
Yep.
voice. And
Why do you
I
think we're
know
doing
it's
a
not
podcast?
Sarah, it's not that way for everybody. There are some people that are just extremely quiet people, but man, like we do have so much to say. And I just found myself just choosing to say less and to listen more. And at first I've started kind of like being a bit like, I don't know, just critical of some of the things that I heard people saying. And I'm like, but I'm no different. Like I say things absent-mindedly. I speak without thinking so much.
Mm.
And as the week went on, it actually it became a discipline that I was like, man, I want to do this more. I want to sit and just listen to what people are when we're having conversations, not be thinking about the next thing that I'm going to say, or just genuinely listen. And
Mm.
so I found myself doing a lot of that this week. Again, it's one of those things that I hope is a life change sort of practice, and not just a something that's from this experience. But it was definitely a win just to be quiet and to just listen a whole lot more than I spoke.
Well, I think that's good, and I agree. I think we it's hard not to talk a lot because you feel like you have to fill whatever, right? You feel maybe there's an expectation for you to fill the space. Maybe there's an expectation for you to answer, or you're, especially as a pastor, everything is so on. Wait, what's your response? What's your answer to this? You're the pastor, right? You've got some type of thing, whether it's a scripture to bring or an insight or principle, and then you're like, but I think that was something that I realized when I left ministry. It wasn't this is not that no one cares, but it was like, man, you're in such a bubble for so long as a pastor of this kind of insulated. Everything is always something spiritual, and scripture is when it's not that scripture doesn't apply to every situation. It's just like you said, do you need to constantly talk about that all the time, or is it more that sometimes you just listen, right? But you get so used to constantly having something to say, and then when you get into the world, you realize most people don't either care or have the time to listen to you
Yep.
pontificate in some way, right? It's more presence is, and I think that's what I realized. It's the presence more than the pontification of what you want, the things you want to say. And I mean, it's not the same, but I make the joke in CrossFit that, hey, you can work out as hard as you want, but when you leave this gym, no one cares. Like you're gonna go to work and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm just like, oh man, the workout's
So
so sore.
sore.
And they're gonna be like, I don't care. Like, can you please get me that purchase order? Or
Mhm.
can you please let me know the update on the project? I don't care how much you squatted today and how sore your legs are. And I think that's that idea that we get so wrapped up in our own worlds, whether it's in CrossFit or fitness, or sometimes even in that world of being known as the person who talks, who has the things to say, that we think we are someone who needs to be heard all the time. And I think it's a slippery slope. I think you have the opposite. You're doing a great job. I think there are some people, not even pastors, who are so now I not drunk on their own Kool-Aid, but essentially the same thing is they've gotten so used to having enough people say, I love you have great insight. Love what you say. You should, I love when you said this. You should do speaking. Then you start doing speaking, or you should write a book or whatever. And then you start doing it, and then you become this person who just talks.
Yeah.
And that's all, you never listen. And you're just about you and you're about what your stuff is going on. And you don't, like you said, you don't even know how to listen anymore, which is crazy to think.
No, it's crazy. And the indicators I think of for me in not listening is like, am I willing to just to sit in silence? Am I willing to not have to be like, uh-huh, uh-huh, yeah, uh-huh, uh-huh. I mean,
Hmm.
because there's some people that like they're so excessive. It's like, let me get it out, man. Let me just say what I want to say without you yesing me the whole time. And but I've been there. I've been the person that's like, oh, and I think And I'm sure. I mean, my wife, she laughs at me when I was telling her all this because she's like, "Okay, well, let's see how the listening thing goes," because she always tells me I have more words than she does, and she may not be wrong, but I'm like, you can learn so much more about life and the world and people if you just say less and listen
You know,
more.
I think another marker is, and this is weird. I think this sounds counterintuitive, or yeah. Um, in the modern world with texting, I think what you're saying, the person who listens, is actually someone who texts back often. So if you're someone who texts and I think a good listener is someone who texts you back. It will be like, if you say something like, yeah, that's great, or that's interesting, or, and then they might say something else along the lines because they're listening to what you're saying. I think texting has made it worse though, because there's so many times where you'll text someone, and if they're really not a listener, they don't text back. They just, they see what you're saying and they're
Yeah,
like, well, we're not talking about me. I'm not getting an opportunity to text back. And so they're not getting an opportunity to talk more about their things, and so they don't talk about it. They don't text you back
that's
because
interesting.
they might see in the conversation, this isn't really an avenue for me to talk. This is,
Hmm.
you're wanting me to listen, and I'm not really on board with that. So I even, just as I'm thinking about that, I'm going, okay, what kind of texter am I? Am I a person that wants to listen, or am I a person that's like, are you gonna look at our texts? Is that what you're about to
No, I
do?
need no, no, no. I need. I'm making sure that how many people has texts I haven't replied to today.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to listen. You just are like, what do you got to do with me today? I don't know, dude. I hate not texting people back. This is just a pet peeve. I think it's one of the rudest things you can do in life now is not text someone back.
I
Like,
think you're right. I agree with
receiving
you.
a message and not even acknowledging you've seen it, but just being like, nah, I'm not, no response. Not even, hey, I saw this, I'm busy right now. I'm not even gonna respond. And then it'll be like, and then a week or so later, you're like, oh, I'm so sorry. You're not. Don't lie. Don't lie.
But do you text a lot? Do you get a lot of texts? I
Yeah,
mean,
I
is
guess.
texting a? I mean, I'm
Here's
sure you do.
I one thing I don't like. There's another pet peeve. Don't text me 20 things at once in different lines of a text. Just like, give me one message to read. Don't give me 20 lines. I'm talking to you, John McGinnis. I know you read this. I know you listen, John McGinnis, and we love you. You're a friend of the show.
You
And
were throwing McGinnis under the bus in your polo this morning. Poor
it's just
John.
because I'm like trying to send you a polo, and I keep getting a notification every time I'm sending you a polo, and I just hear bloop,
Yeah,
bloop,
you were like, here,
bloop,
it's
and I was like,
it's
Jonathan,
McGinnis.
stop texting me. I'm kidding. I love it, but at the same time, it's just so funny. I guess maybe it's me not wanting to listen, so that's on me. So, all
Mm.
right, what were you
Hey,
gonna
so
say?
I'm looking like I look at like right now I've got iMessage on my computer. The little red dot that tells me how many unopened text messages. These are I read them, but but if they were responded to, they wouldn't be open.
How many do
I
you
mean,
have?
it wouldn't be read.
How many do you have? Get
1,717.
the heck out of here. Are they just like spam?
No,
You're telling me you have 1,000 unread text messages from people, not
well,
spam bots, not signed up for like text messaging services. You're telling me there are 1,000 real people in this world that have texted Shannon Greer and have
no,
not received
no,
a
no.
text?
There's 1,717 conversations that I mean, like there's a response back to a text that I sent, to my team today at the shop, and so I haven't opened that one. Um, there's a group text. These are a lot of them are group texts, and it's like,
Leave them.
okay, I don't need to respond to that. So that's a lot of what this is. These are things that I don't need to respond to, like
Yeah, that's another
or
thing. Group. You
or
talk
okay,
about
here's
group
another
text.
one. Like I I'm glad that you can thumbs up and you can like and love and laugh at texts, but ooh, that wears me out especially when you're in a group thread and you've got like these texts that are going out and everyone feels
Mm-hmm.
like they've got to heart it or thumbs up it
Mm-hmm.
or like I
Mm-hmm.
get the value of it. It says that, hey, I've listened, I acknowledge what you've said, but But it contributes to my 1,717 text messages that are showing up on my screen. So
Well, maybe, I mean, this is me. I mute almost all of my group texts. I have them muted. I don't get notifications. And so I'll go back through my phone every so often and look to see if I've gotten any messages, but I mute them for that very reason because I don't want the group text thread going off and out of nowhere I'm getting ding 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 ding. Except my text notification is not. It's hold on. I need you to text me so we can hear it.
is this going to make this podcast explicit now?
No, what? All right, do it. Text
Where
me.
are you? Okay.
That's not it. Getting other messages. Do you hear that? Okay. Stop texting me. Anyway, what did you say? Hey Joel, what are you doing right now? How many?
You
How
said, and then
many
you
what?
said stop. I was going to say, how many of these can I send before you get
Oh, no, no,
irritated?
no.
That's what.
It's from an anime that I used to like, and it was a gag that they would do, and it would literally be that sound. It was wow, and it was just always this gag, and I thought it was hilarious, so I made it my text thread or text tone, and it's so terrible when you're in a serious environment and you have that, and you just hear wow. So that's so I usually have my phone on vibrate.
I do too. I don't have
Yeah.
I have my sound off on my phone, which I didn't realize that I do, but I only realized this while I was in Nicaragua, and I was having a situation texting back and forth with my wife while I was
And you
gone,
had no
and I
idea that
realized,
she texted you because it was muted.
yes. So I turned the sound back on, and yesterday while I'm preaching at church, the actual care team in church, it's a group of care team leaders, they're sending a group thread text, and my phone's dinging during the sermon, and I was like,
Oh
oh,
no.
hey, care team, let me either mute my phone or don't send text right now. So
That is
it
funny.
was funny. Your win, sir. I need to hear you win. I don't think I've heard that yet.
My win, actually, I finally did it. I put up the rings in my garage. They are up, and it literally only took, like, I got lunch with someone at the church, and he's super handy, and he has a woodworking business, and we were just talking about it. I said, I got these rings, I got this bracket, and I realized I don't have the screws. I need specific screws for it. I don't even have a ladder to put it up. I don't even have a good drill. Like, I just don't have a ton of equipment. He's like, well, I'll just come over if you want me to, and I'll just come over. He said, I'll come over later in the afternoon. I've got something I'm working on that Sunday, but then afterwards I'll just come over and help you put it up. And I just needed that. I needed someone to say, no, I'm just doing it. Like, and I'll bring all the screws, so we'll figure out which it is. You don't have to go figure it out.
Well, that's pretty
And he did
cool.
it, and it
Okay.
was great. So Sunday, I worked out in my garage with McGinnis, did all that, went for a run, came back, and then in 10 minutes, the guy was there from the church with another buddy that he had over for like lunch. His family was over for lunch. They came, put up the rings, and now I've got my rings up, so I can start working on ring muscle ups in my garage. So, and that was something that I did. I bought those for
That's
that
pretty
reason. I'd
impressive.
had them for like a month or so, and I had not put them up.
Do you have to have a tall ceiling for that? I guess you don't, do you? Because you're just,
You do. Yeah, I
do
mean,
you?
if I want to go for like an actual legitimate ring muscle up without, like, from the floor, and it's just, I mean, it's maybe I haven't gone all the way up, but I'm pretty
You're
sure I'm
tall
almost
too,
gonna
man. So
hit my head on the ceiling, but it's just tall enough. I mean, it's just tall enough for me. So but it's tall. The ceilings are tall enough that it's fine, but it's
okay.
just there. So, but I got them up, so I'm gonna start doing that. Start practicing at home and doing that kind of stuff.
There's nothing like the feeling of having a job done that's been hanging over your head. So yeah,
Hanging
that's a win.
over my head. I mean, I don't know if you're like me, but I will leave something in the same spot. I had that bracket in the box of rings sitting by my front door because I'd brought them in and they had sat there for a month. because I had not even done anything with them. I am not happy. I'm ashamed to say, but yes. So that was my win. I got that done finally.
Way to go.
Well, how
And
about
now
some?
and now's a ring. Your rings are hanging over your head. So
Not here, at least. I should do a. We should do a podcast episode from our garages, our workout places, just sweating like
yeah,
Nicaragua.
yeah. Oh, yes, yes.
All right. What about some wins from the community?
So let's. Yeah, I'm gonna go back. Went for the week. I took on a challenge that I never thought I could ever complete. On Monday, I participated in the Murph. This was the week after Memorial Day. So I worked out at Five Forks Athletics.
Nice.
I completed a 1 mile run, followed by 20 rounds of 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, and 15 air squats. Finished with a 1 mile run. I completed it without too much hesitation. I proved to myself that when a challenge presents itself, face it head on and take your time, and you will succeed. This is
Amen.
Joe, your
Joe
friend.
Mitrick. Yes,
Yeah.
he goes to the gym. He this is first. That was his first time ever doing Murph, ever, and he is 58 or something like that. 58, 60. He's he's a little bit
Okay.
older guy. He's got adult kids like you that are old and married, and they've got their kids and stuff. And so
Uh-huh.
like he's not a young guy. Just recently got into CrossFit or hybrid workouts and stuff, and been doing that for about a year or so. So this is his first time ever doing Murph.
He did the 20 rounds, which was what I should have done. I started off with
5,
the
10,
10
15.
rounds.
the
Yeah, I did.
That's the way to do it quick though. If you want to get a time, like a good time, yeah, the 10 rounds is the way to go.
Yeah, I did 10 rounds, but I did the first 5 rounds of the 10 and I was like 9. So then I
Mm-hmm.
took the last 5 and split those in half. So I did
Yep,
it in
yep.
essentially 15 rounds. But yeah, that was Joe. Way to go, Joe. Let's see, Bert. This was from Bert. His win for the week is his son Nolan just passed his driving test that was
Heck
on
yeah.
this day. And now he has his driver's license. He says it's the most stressful I've been since he's been born. I'm going to need prayers every day when he drives. So yeah, I know that. Um, okay, Ryan Kusick. Do you
Yep.
know Ryan?
Cusick.
Okay, yeah. Teamed up with his son and daughter for the Murph. It was their first time doing
He
it, a
did.
long workout together and a great bonding experience.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
He's a great dad.
A friend Darren, he sends his win for this particular week. I bought my wife a new 2026 Honda CRV Hybrid Sport, which she
What a
loves.
flex. What a
All right.
flex.
We traded in a CRV with 186,000 miles, so we are certainly frugal people when it comes to cars. As a man, I feel fortunate to earn an income that allows me to provide for my family. That's a good
Nice.
one.
Way to go.
Yeah. Um. So here's one that's it's kind of long, and I don't see the name on here, so I'm hoping that I that it. Oh no. Okay, I'm going to read it. Wins are sparse this week. I feel deflated. My wife is going through some intense physical things with her aunt visiting. It's been tough. I've played board games with the boy who's 10. I've made bread with the oldest. I had deep conversations with the middle about boys, work, and life, and all the while feeling distance from my bride. She's strong and
Mm,
sometimes hurtful. If I'm going to have a space to be weak, it's my wife's space, and she's hurtful right now. It'll pass. She's not to be held accountable, but at that moment, it hurts. My win, I didn't lash out. I didn't retort. I let her say
mm,
what she needed to say and didn't speak. I don't know who any of you are outside of Shannon, but my win, I shut up when I felt I shouldn't. I put my angry wife's heart above my own. I didn't let that strife change my time with my kids. That's a real freaking win, gentlemen, and my heart is carrying it. Not all days are easy, but with family, they are worth it. Wish I knew you all better. So I know who that is now,
that's
and
rough.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I get it. I mean, I was working on the next Substack article, and funnily enough, we're talking about no one needs why are we talking so much? And I'm talking about writing a Substack article, but I was writing about how I was writing about gender roles and about how context and consideration are the marriage that creates a healthy relationship, and that although context changes, consideration shouldn't. And so there is sometimes, yeah, like sometimes context is going to change, where, like he's saying, your spouse or someone might go through a crazy stressful situation, and that that's going to lead to some different, like they're going to act different. It's just how it goes. Life context changes, and it really can grate you, and not everyone's going to handle it perfectly. No one will handle it perfectly, and sometimes you'll handle it really well and sometimes you won't. But you still should be considerate, both sides. Now, just because one side isn't considerate, like he's saying, doesn't mean you can't be. You don't join it, right? We say two wrongs don't make a right.
Right.
So I think it's hard, right? It's hard as a guy when like, let's say that situation, my wife's having a hard time. She's, as a result, lashing out or saying something. I would love to put her in her place now, but one, not the spot, right? Or it's maybe not the spot in the moment, but it might be a spot later that night, or through a better conversation later, or after the aunt leaves or whoever leaves or whatever. Now you have more time, but it's hard. It's hard when your context changes and the other person's not being considerate. And as a guy, you're like, I feel like I'm really between a rock and a hard place.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
great on him for getting that
Yeah.
win and not lashing out.
It takes it, especially for guys, it takes a certain amount of internal fortitude to not react,
Oh yeah.
and I think I don't have a perfect track record there. I mean, there's been plenty of times. I think we one of the podcasts that when we were in Boone, I remember kind of telling a story where my wife she's processing and just some feelings from having been out of town for the week, and I didn't let her have that space, and so I just I kind of I reacted, and in hindsight was like, man, I wish I wouldn't have, and not to, I mean, this week with me being gone in Nicaragua, she actually had a situation with her car that she had to deal with, and she and her mother and one of my youngest daughter went to the beach, so they're out of town, and she's having to navigate like so many different things that normally I would be available, I
Mm-hmm.
would be there to do, but here I am literally in another country, and and I have to hand it to her first and foremost. Like, she walked through it with grace and with strength, and she she could have handled it a whole lot worse than she did, but she didn't. She did well, and for me, I had to like just consistently be able to be like, okay, I'm not there to help with this, so I'm just going to have to be as encouraging and and like, okay, this is going to be okay, and as I can be. And I don't even know how much I was able to be that, but circumstances can definitely, I love that you just said, circumstances are going to change, but consideration shouldn't. So
Yeah. Context, but it's okay.
context. Okay. I was listening.
Sure. Any other wins? So
Yeah. Another one here. Personal started to find the joy in the little things again. Fitness finally hit 405 on my deadlift.
well, that's McGinnis.
And I was going to say, that sounds like,
He
our
did that.
boy.
Yeah. Strong dude.
That's what I got over here.
Yeah. Well, as always, everyone, we want to hear your wins. We've been posting about it a lot, um, and we'll continue to post about it a lot. But we need those wins, right? And what is it? 423-210-4777.
That's it.
So text win to 423-210-4777, and you'll get a text every Wednesday where we ask, "Hey, what's your win?" And that way we can share it on the podcast.
Yeah. And it's important. Like, they actually need to text the word win first,
Yes,
which
text
will get them
win.
in the group, because what I see happening is that people are texting the wins to us, which is great, but they're not in the next to text group, so they
Uh,
don't get the reminders. So you got to text the word. It puts you in there.
well, why don't
Data
you
messaging
text
rates
them
may
back with the
apply.
thing to say text win now?
Okay, I guess I could do that.
goodness.
Just not as smart as you, sir. So
You, the one wearing glasses. All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for listening. As always, we're so thankful for this. Can't believe this is, as we're recording this, episode 13. I don't even know how many people have been listening, but I know that we've had a few. Even if it's just McGinnis joking about that one episode where he wouldn't stop saying the word hard. I thought that was hilarious. He brought it up to me later that day after the episode aired. That's great. I mean, even if it's just a few people that we have these inside jokes with, I'm totally fine with it. But even if it's 6 or 7 people that are sending us wins, those are 6 or 7 guys that are starting to celebrate, the wins in their life more and focus on the good. What? Stop it. What is wrong with you? All right. Anyway, thank you all. Celebrate your win. Send us your win. Text WIN to 423-210-4777. And we will talk to you in the next one.
see ya.